Make sure my door locked.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Fan Effect Podcast. I'd say special live edition, but I'm doing a lot of live editions, so you guys are getting spoiled with how much I'm doing this for you guys. But for those of you that aren't watching it live, welcome to the Fan Effect Podcast. As always, I am your host, the Bushido Geek, your Sherpa to fandom, your guide to the different things that we spend thousands of dollars on, but then justify it by saying that it looks really cool, like all of the stuff that I have behind me here in my fancy new display case. But as always, though, I'm never going to be truly alone because we're always going to try to showcase something different, something unique, and something fun for you guys. And what's fun for me is that when I get to say a return guest, because it means I haven't scared someone off or scarred them so deeply that they never want to come on the show again. um, so joining me today, I have to remember how long ago it was you on. So if you guys want to go back, it was probably about a year ago, if
Yeah,
not a little bit more than that. Because it was when you
um,
guys did that event that we just
I
talked about
think
before we went
so.
live.
Yeah, because last year what we did was we went and Mark, Mel, and we all did. We set up an event called hey, Steven, 101 Tales. If you guys remember that, and that was
Yeah,
just to get everyone together, like the creatives, um, together and connect on storytelling. That was the key to that event. And we gathered like 46 creatives overall. So you're talking about writers, publishers, artists, cosplayers, actresses, and it was international. So we got folks from the UK, as well as down in Brazil that joined on in with us, and yeah, that was fun. It was like the show was in November. We were on here in
yeah,
around October. Yeah,
yeah. It's been about a year. But it's nice to have you on again. And you were already kind of busy when we talked a year ago. Like you were like working on getting involved in like more projects and like trying to like ramp up your artwork and everything. And I remember like you were like, yeah, I'm trying to hit the ground running a little bit. And I would say you've done that because you like don't stop working now. Like
so
just like a lot of projects. So I mean, you've done a lot of stuff. For those of you who are like listening to this first time who haven't listened to like some of the past stuff that you've been on, you've you've traveled a lot. So I know you're currently in Hawaii, but you've been like all over Asia. You've only been really doing comics for a couple years, like three, 4-ish years. So really, not. In the grand scheme of things, like that's not like like it's a long period of time, but like it doesn't feel like it. But you've done
no,
so much in just a couple years, and there's going to be a couple main stuff that we're going to go over today. One being a Kickstarter that you're currently a part of for Totally Rad Comics and slash like in that genre of totally rad monsters, and we'll make sure we're gonna be going over this Kickstarter and everything. You've got a lot of different covers of going. I'll just kind of lift off some of the titles, and we'll go into some of the detail later. But Enclave. I can't talk right now. And then I'm gonna butcher this name, but is it Valak? Is that how you
yeah,
say it?
Valak, yeah,
Okay.
Valak.
Babe, Gore, and Dinosaurs, which I just love the name
Yeah,
in itself. And then Tragedy, and you're doing some cover work for issue 3 on that. And then I know for those of you listening, we got a cool slideshow we're going to go over in a little bit. Um, and then also after the new year, we're finally going to be getting to see you at some mainland conventions, which people have. Are you nervous about that? Like,
very. I am very nervous because for those who know me, I was born and raised in Vietnam, Thailand, and then my parents were married, and then of course we moved to live in Korea. My dad was stationed there, so we were there for a very long time. So that's how I pretty much got around in Asia, and then we moved to Hawaii back in 2016. So that's when like pretty much a year after that, I found Mog Park, and then ended up pretty much staying here and doing the local cons for the most part. And I haven't had a chance to visit the mainland. So not only is it my first time traveling there, it will be my first time doing like big major shows over there. 'Cause
Yeah.
the cons here, even though they're big cons, we have three called Honolulu Comic Con and Amazing Con, Hawaii Con, but I heard that they're not as big as the ones on the mainland. So,
the,
oh
Depending on
boy.
which ones you go to, there's a few, especially out west. I mean, like there's a few in each kind of pocket of the country that can be huge. Obviously, like San Diego Comic Con in
Yeah.
California is one of the biggest in the country and the world, but that was just last month. So
Hmm. Well.
yeah, once you find out some ones you're going to, I might know some people that have gone to them, and can maybe
Mhm.
I can tell you like, okay, this is gonna be pretty big.
I don't know exactly the show that I'm going through to go to, but there is talk about interest in going to Dallas, going to Vegas, and San Diego is one of them, so, and other places in Cali. So,
Okay. So
oh,
just massive, just like all the party cons, like you know, like
yes,
I'll just send you that list, like what how many party cons you can go to.
honey cards, yeah.
Yeah. No, those will be good though. Like those are definitely gonna be fun. I just from like a different standpoint. Like obviously, like I've been to a lot of conventions, but they're always as like as a cosplayer, and so it's a different animal when you're going there like with an actual like book and stuff that you want to sell, and like
Yeah.
people who like know your work and are like there to see you. Like it's definitely gonna like I gotta imagine that's gonna be really cool for you. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear like after con stories of like I mean, you know, maybe not the after dark stories. You know, I'm sure Mel can throw down, but just like the regular, you know, like how the
Yes,
convention
yes,
go kind of thing.
yeah. But, I mean, just here in Hawaii, the active party it can
Yeah,
get a little crazy. It has gone a bit crazy before. But
I can
yeah.
imagine. So let's dive into you a little bit. You've been doing comics for a couple years now. What do you think about this last year? Has really, I mean, I'm sure COVID probably kind of helped free up some time, but what do you think really drove you in this last year to like get involved in as much as you're doing now?
Honestly, it was also uh, dated back to when I did the 101 tale. Like before that, I was looking at it's mostly like, oh, I love illustration. So I love doing like epic fantasy kind of illustration, and you can kind of tell by like my surrounding a bit. Um, but and then when I did 101 tale, it wasn't only for other people, but it was a chance for me to share stories that I've had hidden in my pockets for a long time. And I shared three of my stories during that show. And after the show, it hit me. I was like, man, I want to do more than just draw one illustration every now and then. I want to tell a story. And I am, at heart, I really am a storyteller. I have a bunch of binders with like scrap papers of different little stories that I've drawn now in scraps, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? So then it hit me. I was like, you know what? I should really consider this. Right now, there are opportunities, of course. Like Mall Park has always helped me along the way and guide me, and I was like, now maybe I should give it, especially since COVID's down. I actually quit my daytime job. I have all this time now and I can afford to take this time to invest in that line of work that I want to do and actually create something out. So, but I still don't have a lot of knowledge in terms of comic book writing or comic book uh, uh, production wise. So I started reaching out to writers. I started reaching out to friends with projects and saying, is there a way where I can hop on and let me give it a try. I have some of these work that I've done before. Can you take a look? Can I get a shot? And the answers, fortunately for me, were yeses. So
I
hence
mean,
I am
it
on.
probably helps that your work is really good. Like, I'm sure if you handed in my level of skill, they'd be like, "Yeah, it's nice of you to offer, but a stick figure is probably not what we're looking for."
Yes. I still think my work are not up there yet. I know, like when people look at it, they don't see that. But for me, of course, artists were harsh on ourselves, and there's always like
Right.
room for improvement. And I'm like, I'm so grateful for all these guys giving me these shots and chances to work on these projects of theirs, and because it's their babies too, so I'm taking them as my adopted babies now. And yeah, but since that one-on-one show events, I say I want to set a goal where I'm gonna publish my story. And in
Right.
order to do that one day, I need to gain all these experiences. And I'm gonna
Right.
work with people. I'm gonna help people. And in return, really my trade-off is I'm learning all these skills. I'm learning all these knowledge and ways. And I am really learning from some of the best in the industry right now, in the
Yeah.
indie industry. And God, I manifested some stuff. I was like, Enclave is actually a graphic novel, and I've always said I want to be one of those artists that will do one full illustration every now and then in between the books. I had
Yeah.
that like goal in mind at the start too, and somehow I landed that through a commissioner who had a friend who was like writing that story, and he was like, "Your art is perfect for my stuff, so it's gonna be perfect for his stuff." And then and here we are, and I was like, "Dang,
Connections work in mysterious ways. Like
yes,
I shared the story with you like off the air really quick of just like part of the reason I even do this is not so much of like becoming like millions of downloads. I mean, sure that'd be great, but I do it just because of being able to meet people and just hearing different stories. And I told you before the air of like I interviewed this guy named Tom Bacon on a whim. Like I literally went to when conventions shut down, there was like an artist alley website where like people who would normally would go to conventions had made a website to like just put all their links in one place so you
yeah,
could like find them. And I was like, that sounds like a cool name. And I just clicked on that guy and interviewed Tom, who then led me to DJ, who then led me to Mog and Mel, who then led me to you guys, who then led me to Rob, who then like yeah.
it goes on. It's like one of those human genes, right? You
Yeah, for
just add on as you go."
Yeah, pretty much. So let's so we mentioned Enclave. So we'll dive into that a little bit. What was it like? Because I know you said like you always wanted to kind of do like a graphic novel and being kind of the sole illustrator and cover artist for it. That's obviously graphic novels are massive undertakings. What was that like for you to like from wanting to work on one to then getting like okay, here's all the stuff.
It's still well, not unreal. You shouldn't say that because it's a possibility, but it's still like when you're starstruck in a way. All of a sudden you meet your star kind of or your crush. So it's like, dang, I actually am here with this book. I'm here and I am the star in the book. It was it still is sinking in for me. I'm still shaking whenever I'm thinking about like that I'm working on these projects and I'm accomplishing these goals of mine. And at the same time, I'm able to build these connections with people and just to help them out. It's a great satisfaction for me to help out a writer as well, and gaining more connection, getting more eyes on their projects, and just just massive
Yeah,
gratefulness.
right.
Yeah. Um,
What would you say like out of the work that you're doing right now and we'll jump to the Kickstarter in a minute. What would you say has been like kind of the most challenging to get past?
so Enclave is the work that I do for Enclave, it's mostly like an illustration page. So you just sell one page, full illustration. It's different from sequential art. So this ties into Valak. That's another project I'm on with Mark May under Mayhem Production. And of course, Mark is going to be involved in this as well as a bunch of others, local Hawaiian artists. So that's a cool thing. But the sequential art is probably the biggest undertaking I've ever done. This is going to be my first sequential ever. And not too long after I got signed on to Phallic, I got signed into like Big Gore Dinosaurs. Um, and there are more that are to come. But yeah, it's just I've been able to learn things like paneling in the direction of where the panels or figures stand in the panel so that it moves the reader eyes, which I've not had the experience of before. And so even though my illustration on the page looks good, it didn't make sense in some scene where the reader eyes were moving. And not only that, I have to position it in a way where it makes the reader want to flip the page and
Right.
direct the reader right into like a big dramatic scene that's coming up. And the writer Mark May has been so awesome in like helping me and teaching me that a part that I have not had experiences in before. So it was wonderful to get that second pair of eyes and helping. Yeah.
Yeah, it's based on what I've seen so far. I mean, it's definitely kind of crazy when you mentioned the project with Alec when you're working with like a bunch of different people. Is it harder, like, just in your experience, like, and you can throw Mog under the bus, that's fine. Is it like harder when you've got a couple different illustrators working on the same project with, like, because I'm everyone's kind of got, I'm assuming, different styles to a certain extent and kind of different ways they work. Is it more challenging to work with people, or do you kind of enjoy the, I guess, collaboration of like different people styles?
Oh man. Before I before one of the projects I jumped on, it was actually a local project, which I'll show later on. But before that, I was scared. I was like, how the heck am I gonna mesh like three different styles together? Um, and then once we did it and we got the ball rolling, it just came together so well. So what it is I figure I found out that as long as everyone involved has a guideline or has the go-to person to go to for guidances or like layouts wise, everything just meshed together. And it's a trust game. You have to trust other people in order to make it through. And but like after that, the style of art or whatever you do to mesh the project together doesn't matter anymore. It's not the biggest picture after that. What you need is just that trust in each other, pretty much. That's the one thing you gotta learn.
Yeah, yeah. I would imagine that I'm sure there's probably bad experiences out there that happens, but I got to imagine that you've been pretty lucky with being able to work with uh, a few of the people that you have so far that, like you said, have been more than willing to like teach you like certain aspects of comic writing and page flipping and stuff that you've been trying to learn, which is awesome because like some of the stories that you shared with me before we went live of, so you can get some rough experiences sometimes.
Yes,
But it's good from
yes,
like the work that you're doing though. You've been able to get like some really good people there and different stuff and we'll
totally.
we'll jump into one of your big ones right now. So I've mentioned a Kickstarter a couple times. How did this project get to be? So I know you're doing a Kickstarter cover for them, and I know that there's 4 days left in this. Those of you that are listening to this right now, if you go to kickstarter.com/projects slash totally rad comics slash, well, I'm sure you could go to that and it would probably bring you the same thing. But just in case,
Yes,
if you want to go more further than that, if you're a perfectionist, you can go to that slash totally rad comics slash totally rad monsters one neon and kitty two. But how did this project kind of evolve for you with this Kickstarter?
this one there's a little bit of a funny story to it. So I actually got a message from Mark first, asking like, "Hey, open up your messenger. Like, make sure you look at it." I was like, "Okay." And then next thing I know, Jimmy Noble was messaging me asking like, "So you want to join this project that I got?" I was like, "Sure, dude." I've known Jim for a little bit since 101 Tell, so we're good on that. And then but yeah, so the thing is, Mark uh was chatting with Jim at the time, and uh, Jim was asking about me, and then Mark was just giving him the little nudge, like, "Yo, just go." talk to her. Why are you asking me about on? Just go talk to her. She's because I guess I might have scared him a little bit the last time I was on a live show with him, and it was just a fun talk. And somehow I brought up a hatchet, and I was like, I got a hatchet if anyone needs. And it was one of those uh, inside joke in that podcast, and I guess I scared him away that with that hatchet at the time. So he hasn't like messaged me for a while, and so Molly's like, "Don't worry, she won't kill you. Just go message her." And then
She won't kill you.
so thank you, Mom, for nudging him that way. And that pretty much opened up a conversation with me and Jim again. We reconnected, and he just said like, "You want to do me a cover?" And I was like, "Sure." And then of course, it ended up being actually four covers that I'm doing for him, and two are out on the Kickstarter right now. I'm still waiting for the other one to drop, and I know it's like 4 days left, so I don't know what he's planning with that. Maybe some kind of
Some secret stuff.
some secret stuff. Even I don't know. So it's like, dang. But
He's keeping it
like
hidden from you.
yeah, I know. Like I didn't see the color version of this cover that's on Kickstarter so far until the very day that it drops, and I was like, oh dang, when I saw it. So like also thank you to the colorist who did the work on it too.
Yeah,
She looks in
the work on the Kickstarter looks pretty like insane. Like the detail on everything is pretty crazy. Uh,
yes. Jim is a crazy person who gets a lot of crazy folks like us together, and there's a long list of just like other artists on there. So I know like big names like Steph Wilson is on there, of course, and like Foxy is on there, and they're incredible. So yeah, if you guys can not only check mine out, but check out others covers on there.
Yeah, there's a lot on here. And like I said, the Kickstarter goes for a couple more days, 4 more days to be exact. But I know, if I'm not mistaken, on Kickstarters, you can donate after a Kickstarter is finished. You just might not get like the specific rewards, because I think those sometimes those are tied to the specific time frames of a Kickstarter.
I,
But I know you can donate after Kickstarter. So just because if you suddenly can't donate in the next couple days, but you look into this down the road, if you're listening to this in November or whatever, and you want to donate to the Kickstarter, you still totally can. Obviously, I'll make sure when we're done, not that we're done now, but when we're done, I'll make sure that we'll go over all your stuff. So if people want to just start throwing money at you, we'll figure out ways. We'll figure out ways to make it work. Um, well, I appreciate that though. So I know one thing. I want to make sure we go over this, because I don't know if you guys remember if you remember this from the last time you were on the show, but once we're officially at the halfway mark, I'm gonna start throwing you on the spot and asking you some fandom questions, so people get to know you as like an artist and a person. And I always love doing stuff like that. But before we do that, I know you have a PowerPoint that we want to go over that kind of just showcases a lot of the different stuff and information. So those of you who are, whether you're watching this or you're listening to this, or whether it's live or down the road, this is gonna what we're about to go over is kind of just gonna have a lot of the great information of the work that you're gonna want to hear about and know about and everything like that. So let me bring this on the screen for you. And okay, there we go.
Okay, so let me make this bigger real quick, and thank you, Mark. So this here, you guys see me flowing this around. This actually was a show that I did over the this past weekend. So it's relatively new. It's a project called Stronger Together. And what happened was that I team up with two local artists, Mike Cannon and Connie Jolitz here, and we did the Stronger Together project to raise funds for Aloha United Way. And this is a local organization on the island of Oahu. Um, and what they do is they fund PPEs for clinics. They actually help out with food drives and stuff like that during pandemics and disasters to help out families. So this is what we ended up doing. And this is after doing this project, I'm not so scared of like collaborating with a bunch of people. Three people like this was the most I've ever done. after that, I actually got to collab with Mog, so I'll show you guys that after. But anyways, this I still have prints available that I'm gonna post again soon on Facebook, and all funds made on this. Even the original canvases, uh, done by me, Connie and Michael, are still available, and we're trying to sell it as a set. And it's a little hefty price, but if you can afford it, it will go to a good cost. It's we're setting all three for 1,000, and they're
Okay.
big size canvases. They're not small, or not 11. I think they're bigger than 11 by 14. But I also have friends.
It's like wall artwork.
Yeah, pretty much. And but yeah, so this I still got the prints available for 20 bucks a piece. If you want to get it, you'll see it again on my Facebook and know where to contact me. And then let me go past you. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
throwing Mog under the bus a little,
I
but
told you it was
this
gonna
was.
happen.
But actually, this is a concept board that Mog kindly made for me. And of course, you see the trouble of being an artist. You gotta be your own model sometime. But this is
Right.
what she used to create this line work and composition on a piece of tribute to a local artist named Free Isabello, who recently passed away a couple months ago because of COVID related stuff too. But he was a dear friend, dear artist to the island, so we wanted to help and contribute to his family as well. So I had the prints available. I still have I have to reprint it pretty much. Right now I ran out prints
There you go.
because folks
That's a
have
good
been,
problem to have.
yeah, that's a good thing. So it's still available if anyone wants a print. It's $20 a piece, and it goes to his family, especially those who are a fan of Free or Mogs or I because Mark did the line work, I did the painting. The original painting just sold. So the original line work is still with Mark, so it's still available. You can contact me on that. But the original line work, I believe we're putting it up for 300. The original painting was also 300 that went.
Okay.
So yeah, it's on my Facebook. If you follow my page, you will see it for sure.
Yeah.
It's there.
Again, both really good causes, and I said it before when I was talking to Mog about Snowpaw, but I will throw down some money if Mog has to draw nothing but boxes and old 16th century ship planks. You know, like
Oh God,
yeah, okay,
hurry
we'll
up,
make.
Mog.
I know, right? Like, I mean, come on, like I'm throwing
Come
down.
on, he's throwing money. Hurry up.
That'd be the weirdest thing to display, like just to like have this like picture in a frame and it's just a bunch of boxes and like planks and everyone's like, "Why do you have that?" And you're like, "It's a really long, complicated story that makes me sound like a crazy person, but it completely justified and it works out."
I mean, you'd be swimming in some dollars at that
That's
point,
true.
so that's all you gotta know. But yeah, so let me know if you guys are interested in that. It's on my Facebook page. And then there is this show that Mog and I are also a part of. It's crazy. I didn't intend on this, but this whole year I've been involved in a lot of like charity work, and I dragged Mog along with me. But this this is a show hosted by our dear friend, a mutual friend of Mog and I, Chi Chow, um, and she's amazing. Engineer herself. She is a leader. She is the president of this club called the well, this is an organization that they're related to, but it's a woman engineering club. And they're doing this for the Society of Women Engineers Scholarship Program. And pretty much we're still available for artists to sign up. So if you're creators, artists out there, you can sign up. You can. There's a posting on my profile as well about this. If you want to sign up, let me know. You can reach out to me anytime. I'm very easy to talk to. But we're only taking 30% of what the artists make. They can keep the rest. 30% will go toward the Society of Women Engineering uh, scholarship. Um, and that would help send a few of us women into the engineering field. So, yay,
Again,
power to
yeah.
the women.
Again, another good cause. And I'm waiting for like the selfish bomb to drop because you know we're getting a lot of like, here's all this charity work that I'm doing. I'm like, okay,
I
it's only a
gotta
matter
I gotta smoothly
it's only
slide
a
in.
matter of time until she's like, but here's this thing, and I want all of your money. Like, let's get this
But
going. Like, come on.
yeah, so you can kind of see a little sneak peek of that this show. What I'm preparing for you guys here is like six connecting pieces. So it's massive. It's on my wall
It's
for
pretty
planning,
impressive. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
and it's steampunk based. Steampunk themed auction slash original art sale. So you guys gonna get some good original art for good deals for sure. Um, And then, lastly, this is a last event that is probably going to happen for me at least this year is Online MiniCon 2021. It's hosted by a local Hawaiian group called Comic Jam Hawaii. Mal Park and I will be involved in this. We have a couple panels that we're doing. I believe there's one where we're going to pretty much give details on how it was like for us to work with publishers. And another panel is a mini draw and bid, which is a small extension of what Mark does every month, which is draw and bid session, and we have like a theme for every month. This month's theme is actually Final Fantasy 14. I have like a little piece I'm doing here. It's barely
Okay.
started, and it's due this weekend, but I'm getting there.
So we're off to a good
But
start. So you're hitting the ground running. I think it's honestly, like, joking aside, I'm like, with the amount of work that you are doing. I mean, I can imagine it. You're just like, I mean, I guess
it,
that's another thing too. Is like, I would imagine you probably get. Did you get like better at drawing quicker, or do you still like really
I
meticulously like take your time?
I got better at drawing certain things quicker, like hands, uh, body proportion. You know, I can eyeball it quicker, or like composition wise, I can come up with the concepts and the ideas for a piece way quicker now than I was before. I can pump out a layout in a day, sometimes half a day, depending on the piece. So actually, last Friday, my deadline was for Enclave. I had to turn in like four different layouts. I did it all in like half a day, and I turned it in. And I just know after a while, you know what to look for, and you know the key points that you have to cover, and then you lay it out. You send it in for approval, and then you come back and you work on the details. Now I do slow down on certain things. It's like uh, as you go on as an artist, of course, many artists go through this where our style changes. So some of the stuff like the eyes, I slow down on. I experiment with different shapes and like shadings a little bit more. So that slows down the process a little bit.
Right.
But yeah,
Okay. I was just curious.
no, it's a good question. It's a good question. Sometimes you get too involved in it and you don't notice this until someone asks.
I'm very selfish when I interview. I mainly just ask stuff that I'm curious about, and with no regard for what anyone else might want to ask. But oh well.
I mean, I asked to talk to you, so you got all the right. But yeah, so this is gonna go on, and I know Mog and I we have some I have some blanks, so I'm gonna have that on there. So some show exclusive for sure, because we always love that.
Okay.
But yeah, look out for that. You definitely see me post. So if you're on my Facebook, on my Instagram, you're up to date.
Yeah, and then so I know it says online. Is it
Yes,
like is it a pure online con? Is there like a
yes.
is there a website?
No, it's gonna be on Facebook, so it's
Okay.
gonna be easy access for everyone to join. We're gonna have, I think we're pushing over 40 vendors slash artists on here already.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, um, it, it's gonna be fun. I had this event last year too, and it's actually hosted by the group, so I didn't have to do much work. This time I'm involved in helping out.
You're
But
like
yes, look,
this time.
this time is different. But certainly look out for that that event. Save that weekend. It's right around the corner.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a couple weeks.
yep. And then this is one of the things. If you guys haven't checked out Philip versus Tragedy, actually the second issue is coming out. I somehow managed to get onto the first issue, and I stumbled across Phil's one of his rant on Facebook, and he's such a sweet guy. That's how I found him. And then he sold me on his story. And this here is Grace O'Connor, who is pretty much a killing machine. She's an assassin, but her parents pretty much passed away mysteriously when she was young, and then her dad's best friend took over her custody and raised her as his own, right? But the thing is, the dad is leader of a mob syndicate, and
Okay.
he pretty much trained her to kill on his behalf for his business. You know, it's like I raised you. You know, this is all for your good. You should listen to me and that kind of stuff. And then, but that's not what she wants. She's growing up in this pretty much designed life that her dad set for her. So hence, like she's powerful. She was highly trained, highly skilled. But now power without the self will or self freedom
Right.
means nothing, right? So that's what drew me into this story, and I did these covers for him. So it's gonna probably go on to issue 3, and that is looking to be around January when it will come out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, speaking as a parent, I gotta say it's a classic parenting technique of I raised you, so kill for me. You know, mine's only 4, but the he's doing that killmonger thing where he's just marking he's taking the marks of his kills, and so 4 years
Yes,
old and he's already got like a bunch. So I mean, it's a classic parenting technique.
yes, yes. What speaking about like tiger or Asian parents,
Yeah.
I think that's worse than mine. Thank God that's not my parents.
Well, your parents didn't have you kill for them at a young age.
No, I think my mom is Buddhist, so
Yeah,
that
that
helps.
that would be different.
But yeah, so this one, look out for his second issue, and then I certainly can't wait for his third issue, to come out. Love Phillips, much love to him. He's such a great guy. Um, and then this is totally rad monsters. We're gonna get a little hot in the room a little bit, guys. So this is my cover V. It's still available on the Kickstarter. I have the link here. Of course, I posted on my profile again. If you type in "Totally Rad Monsters" on Google, it comes up. It's the first option that shows up.
Yeah.
I've done that myself. But this is the first debut of Totally Rat Monster, and it's gonna debut Molly Dolly, Foxy Lady, Monica here, and Golem, and they're his monster babes that is gonna appear first ever in his Totally Rad universe. So I'm glad, I'm honored to be a part of this debut. Um, but this is a little process that I did. A lot of stars, but bear with me, we're
Oh
staying a little safe.
well. Just in case.
Yes, but so that how I came up with this is Jim pretty much threw two uh characters at me. So one I would disclose is Molly Dolly, and then Monica. Monica here is kind of like a Egyptian goddess. She gave me the feeling of like Cleopatra, but a little bit more tame and well, not tame, like a little less tame, I should say, and a little bit more devilish. But in this depiction, I pretty much rose her from the dead. She just got out of the grave, and this is her coming together with her power. And I did a little research on here with because she's Egyptian. I was like, it makes sense if she came out of like an Egyptian-based kind of tomb, and the modern tombs actually look like this, and it has like two pillars that come up from a stone coffin. So
Yeah.
that was interesting for me. Not entirely sure. I haven't had the time to look into why, but I thought, just to do her justice, I would do that. But that was the original line work, and this is where I inked it. Oh no, I haven't inked it yet. No, sorry. I added the mausoleum. I jumped the gun a little bit. Now, this thing about the mausoleum, I put in there, it's to also tie into the second cover. the Molly Dolly cover. On this side, I portray one side of the mausoleum. So when you get the Molly Dolly cover when it comes out, you'll get the other full side of it. So
Okay.
I just found that it's a nice little connection. And like if I ever do the cover for the other two character, Foxy Lady and Golden, I would probably use the mausoleum again,
Right. I
just so
mean, it
you guys
looks
have
really
like a nice
cool.
selection. Thank you. But that was fun for me. Um, and this is when I inked it up. And this is actually the first time I ever used a crow nib to ink. So I'm glad it turned out well.
So,
Um,
what makes that different for not me? I totally know what it is, but for maybe others that don't know, what makes that inking style different?
crow nibs are a little bit more traditional nowadays. Of course, we artists got the cheap tools of like fine line pens, which helps save us a lot. And the fine lines pens now have different shades and gradients. As to the crow nib, it's straight up black ink. A lot of people use India ink. I use the Black Sumi ink, the Japanese brand. And it, of course, when you're using a nib, there's certain pressure you got to put down. You got, it's very much a delicate tool. So the weight, you have to really experiment with the weight of the line you're pressing onto the nib, and constant going back and forth, dipping into the ink. But to me, what is cool about this is once I'm done, the ink is almost like it lays on top of the paper, so it has a texture. It's almost like engrossed. Is it the right word? Engrave or engrossed on top of the paper? Embossed,
Yeah, yeah.
embossed. Yeah, sorry, embossed
I
onto
only
the
know that
paper.
term. I only know that term from having to do Photoshop stuff.
Yeah, but so that's what it feels like. So actually, the original ink and all the original pencil on this cover and Molly Dolly cover just sold this weekend, so I
Oh,
don't
there you
have it anymore.
go.
So thank
So
you
there's
to
the
the
tease for
collector.
you, but you can't have it.
No, not anymore. Someone snatched it up. But this is the color version,
Okay.
and the rad is the new version. That's called the rad version. It's it's full on. It's actually really nicely done. This colorist did such a good job with the skin tone. Um, man, I wish I'd written his name down again, but I'll, I know I credited him on my posting. But yeah, this is the first time I've ever had anyone color my work digitally like
Oh,
this.
okay.
So it was nerve wracking for me because I've always painted mine. I'm a painter. And it goes back to the question you asked before. It's like what it's like to work with other people, right? It's trust. I had
Yeah.
to really wait. I had to really wait for the colors to come out.
was
I'm happy with it.
was there like a back and forth like of like you were like, "Hey, I like this part, but could you tweak this?" Or were you kind of just like, "Wow, this is
No,
all."
it was out of my hand. I handed it to Jim, and Jim went with the colorist, and so Jim had the conversation with the colorist. So first time ever I had anyone color my stuff, so I did my best with my line work where it should be clear enough for the colorist. And of course, in this one, he took liberty with the background, which I love. He did the moon, the sky, and everything. So I'm glad that he's able to take liberty with that. But yeah, but from this, I also learned that there are certain things I could do better with my line work to make it even easier or smoother with the colors in the future. But we definitely didn't have that back and forth. So all I had to communicate was through my line work.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of giving like a template and kind of hoping that the person that you're sending it to kind of understands like what you're trying to go for.
Yes, yes, definitely. It was nerve wracking, but it was a fun little thing to experiment and learn from.
Yeah, and I think it's like you said kind of earlier. It's those kind of experiences that kind of like help you grow in different little areas. And like you said, whether it's learning something or making connections, sometimes you have to just kind of like put your feet to the fire, so to speak, and just kind of like, all right, I hope this works out.
Exactly, exactly. Don't burn me.
Yeah.
But yeah, uh, I'm happy that, and this is my first ever published cover too, so yay.
Yeah, lot of firsts this year, especially
Yes,
in the last like
uh,
year and a half in general. It's been kind of crazy for you.
very, very. Like it's also hard for me to keep up with like what did I do last year? What did I do this year already?
Like everything
But
blurs together.
yeah, and but yeah, it's still available. I believe right now it's still going at $20 a a cover, and you guys can still grab it at Totally Rad Comics on Totally Rad Monsters title. It's still there on Kickstarter, and of course, I did this slideshow for Safeguard just in case we can't show because it is quite explicit on there. But there is these goals, stretch goals. I know this is a little out of date. I think we already are past twenty
Yeah,
thousand.
yeah. It's on the sticker one now. It's just shy of like it's like $415 short of 25,000 for the sticker.
Oh, and
Uh,
that will be Steph Wilson's sticker. So, yeah, if anyone is still interested in hopping onto the campaign, grabbing a cover from any one of the covers listed there,
it'd
it's
be a good
galore.
time. Now's a good time.
Yeah, and then get that Steph Wilson sticker. That would be cool. Yeah,
Yeah, or just go all
and
the way. There's 4 days left. You guys can go all the way.
totally. And let's see, I think that's that. And here's a snippet of the next cover. It's a little treat for you guys.
Okay. I mean, it
So
looks pretty sweet. I like the background.
yeah, so I try to throw in. So I love like, of course, epic fantasy, anything a little dark, bad throw. I'm a fan of like Vampirilla. You can see her
Okay.
kind of looming there, and so I try to throw a little bit of that in. And I love the classic, like the European classic art. So you see that in my art.
Yeah, but I think that helps though.
Mhm.
When you can kind of like draw from like an internal, well, I guess an internal fandom or like something internal that you're more passionate about. It kind of help to, I guess, help the drawing come to life in a way.
Yes, yes, and I enjoy it too.
Well, that too, yeah.
And then what is else? We touched up on this. For me, Enclave, it's a trilogy novel. So there are three parts to this novel. So I'm not only on one, but on three.
You're
And
doing all three.
oh man, it was such a dream of mine. And then now I'm doing it. But Ben Garrido is the author on this. And his mind is crazy. What I can tell you about Enclave, if you play the game Far Cry,
Yeah.
it's like up a notch from there. It
Okay.
messes with your head a little bit, but the cool thing about it is like no matter who you are, you can relate to some any one of the characters in the book. In some aspect, in some angles, you can definitely relate. But it is mind-boggling. It drew me a little. There was a scene that I was drawing where this guy was like almost like he was possessed, and it was so intense. And I'm doing it in like a if you guys know who Gustave Doré is, classical illustrator as well. His The art is dark, but it's so dramatic, and yeah, that's all I can say for now on
Hey,
that.
it's a good teaser. I mean, Far Cry is definitely a franchise that I've always loved playing. So
Oh
I will
yes,
say I'm invested in seeing more. So
yes. And then Valak, Bushi Kawaso, and the Onyoka. So that's in the work right now with Mayhem Productions. I've been like going through the script. There's a lot of changes to the script, but it's all in good favor to the story. And I've been working with Mark May closely on this, and it's just an arc to the story. So Valak is actually an arc to the Hellbringers franchise that is under Mayhem Productions. So if you guys been following that, it's just a small arc and it introduces actually as far as I know, I'm doing the last bit of the story, which introduces Bushi Kawaso and the Onyoka. And my good friend Brett Okumura, who's on the island here with me, amazing artist. He's so fast in his artwork too. But he's doing the beginning part on Valak. The name Valak, the yeah, Valak is actually the name of the character in this story. And as far as I know, he's the crazy ass ninja assassin down in hell. Everything in this whole book will go back down into hell. That's
Okay.
as far as I know. But yeah, the for my part, what I'm doing different for this book is everything is traditionally done except for the lettering. So I will be the
Okay.
sole artist painting this last bit of the story. I will be painting it in a traditional style, and I'm drawing it in a traditional style that is a little bit different from my own, but it's yeah, I can't disclose that one. But
Yeah.
the style in which I hate it because I go on these shows and I was like, I'll tease you guys and then I can't
And
disclose
I
it
can't say
because I'm
anything.
under. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good tactic though, because then you leave people wanting more and finding out more info about it.
And I swear I'm trying my best to squeeze out as much information from my own mouth for you guys. But that's as much as I can go. And lastly, Babe Gore and dinosaurs. Don't you love that name?
I gotta say, the name alone is just great.
It is, and I was fortunate to have Dustin send me the script on this. So first off, I'm gonna be doing the cover for it, and then I'm gonna be doing some pretty much anthologies, series in it with Mob Park as well. So we're gonna do some interior work in here. So that'll
Okay.
be great. But Babe Core Dinosaur is not a dino porno. I have to help Dustin out by saying this because some people are like, oh, he's closely related to Totally Rad. It must be a porno. No, it's actually mature art. Yeah, it's a mature story. So I wouldn't recommend it for kids at all. But it's it's like a the actions go all the way through. You're not gonna get like cutscene like, oh, a guy shot him and you don't see the guy splatter. This one you will see the guy splatter. Pretty much that's how
Okay.
mature it is.
Okay.
And
I approve.
if you like Star Wars and you or Star Trek, you like the inter uh pretty much interaction between or among all these species of beings out there in the universe. It's like that. You're gonna have a city full of different kind of species, and a lot of them are dinosaurs, lizard people. But it's done nicely though, so
Right.
I can say that. I can vouch for that, and I will make it good too. I'll be a part of it.
Skyscanner.
Yes. But that's that as far as I know in terms of that project. That is due to start the work actually next month, so next week ish.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
you're getting
I'm
there.
excited for that. But again, Valak, you can certainly look out for that because it includes not only myself, got Mog on there, got Brett Okamura, Andy Lee, John Murakami, so a whole bunch of us Hawaiian artists.
Right.
And then we're gonna party with Baycore Dinosaur for sure. Especially when I go to the mainland for the shows.
I
We're gonna party.
I'm gonna hear some stories. That's
Definitely.
that's my penance. I need to hear all the stories.
You gotta
I'll
show up with us too. We'll drag you into it.
I just like show up out in Dallas or Las Vegas. Like, all right, let's do this. Like, I'll do a drunk podcast at 2 in the morning,
Yeah.
and I'm
Oh
sure
man, all these.
it'll go over so good.
So there's a captain that sleeps with every species. No,
Yeah.
I don't think that's part of the story, but we'll see. I don't know. These guys can surprise me too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's where you can find me. And yes, my commissions are closed right now to December's. I have a reservation list going on. At the moment, it's getting filled up too. But yeah, feel free to hit me up on any of these social media. I do Twitch now.
There you
every
go.
Tuesday and Thursday. I haven't
Okay.
kept to the schedule very strictly because I've been busy, of course. But I try to. If you don't catch me on a Tuesday, you'll catch me on a Thursday.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I'll go
that
follow you. I'll go follow you right now.
oh yeah, awesome. If you have a Twitch, I'd love to catch you on there too. Yeah.
And then
But
so before we, I know I'm gonna dive this first off. We actually have I have a question here. Someone's asking a question for you specifically. Um, someone on my Twitch is asking that what are some tips that you can give to people how to get involved in the industry?
so in the how to get into the industry, first off, have a portfolio. That you know, I didn't trust my high school art teacher until like I finally gotta get out and get a job. I was like, oh damn, portfolios are important. So if you're trying to get into comic industry, figure out what you want to do. Are you gonna be a penciler? Are you gonna be a colorist? Or are you gonna be an inker? Or you wanna be a writer? So what is it that you wanna do? Heck, you can be an editor too, and put a portfolio together showcasing that specific skill. That is actually something that I'm working on. And I've made up my mind. I want to be a penciler because I want to illustrate all these ideas and just get them out of my head.
Right.
And then everyone else can have fun with coloring. Once in a while, I love painting, but that's just my leisure. But I think there are way more folks out there that are very well qualified for that specific skill. So yeah, figure out what you want to do and put a portfolio together. And then start going to all these conventions. Hit up, follow if you follow some artists online. Reach out to them. You're gonna get a lot of no's, but once in a while you're gonna make cool connections, and that's what happened to me. I just actually I did bring my little bits of portfolio to Mog when I first met her, and then she was like, "You're in. You're coming on to a convention with us in a couple of weeks. Get ready." And I was like, "Yes,"
It
but
worked.
it worked. Um, and then of course networking. So get your portfolio together and network. Network the hell out of it. Um, I've never had so much friends in my life, honestly. I have so much more friends now than I ever did in my life. And when you're networking, not only do you look out for what can these people do for you, also think about what can you bring to the table in this friendship. What can you
Yeah.
offer the other person as well as and then everything else will fall into place. Get your portfolio together and network.
I can give Mog a lot of shit. That's what I'm good for. So
Yes.
I keep doing that. That's my contribution to the group. I can give Mog lots of shit.
It's okay. You entertain us in that sense, so we're all here for it.
No, I think that's a really good point, though. I mean, I can speak from that from just like a podcasting standpoint and different networking and friends that I've made and connections and everything. And we kind of talked off the air about some work that I'm going to be doing for somebody that we know as
Mhm.
like a favor to them to help them out with their comic stuff because yes, I can't
Yes,
draw and I never will be able to. And I don't have any shape or form of drawing it, but I have a degree in marketing and I'm really good at promotion stuff and so if I can, do that and help out people, like it's like you said, it's those connections that you just kind of build and the friendships that form from it. They're
exactly.
beyond worth it.
Exactly. And I noticed Corey here asked, what's the Vampirilla costume? Okay, if your friend is 10 years old, this is what you're looking at as a costume. This is
Yeah,
called Vampirilla. That's the character. So I don't recommend it.
yeah,
No,
not for a
it's very
10-year-old.
skimpy. Not the
I'm gonna
boots
go.
are okay. The
Yeah,
boots
you can
are
wear the
okay.
boots. Yeah, wear like 9 layers of clothes, and then you can have those boots, and you're good to go on that.
Yes. But yeah, no. Heads up.
And so I won't keep you for too much longer, but I want to make sure we dive into who you are a little bit here because I always like to find out new things about people. So I know you mentioned a couple things so far. You're doing some stuff with Final Fantasy, and you mentioned kind of comparing some stuff to Far Cry. Uh, do you tend to like is like gaming a hobby, or do you just kind of know what's going on?
It's I would love to play games if I had the time to. Actually, growing up, I liked this one game called Boom. It's almost like Boomerman, but I played games like that, and then I played shoot a lot of mobile games. What was that called? It's Arena of Valor or
Oh,
Arena of
yep.
Valor. I was hooked on that thing for months, and then work got busy, and I had to destroy that account.
Like all my
But
hours wasted.
yeah, uh, and then Kingdom of Kings or something like that. Again, mobile phone because I don't have time to set up a unit to play at home at a station, so everything is on my phone or my iPad. Um, and then of course I watch people play games. My brother is a
Of course,
gamer,
yeah.
and then my friends are gamers. So like I had I watched through the entire play of Sekiro, and then I
Oh,
watched
yep.
Ace Combat, all the Assassin Creeds out there, and get my shanty out there.
You
Uh,
get your fix.
yes, yes. So I enjoy watching a lot of the gameplays, but to play it myself, oh man, I can't imagine. I
I
won't
know.
get any work done.
I know what you mean. Other than randomly like streaming some games on Twitch, I just like generally don't have time anymore. So I have like all these games that I spent money on. They just sit there, and I'm like, just so much money, just
Oh
so much
yes.
money. It's the same with comics. I keep collecting comics, and then I'm not reading them
Um,
because I don't have time, and I'm just like, I've wasted so much money.
I feel you on that. I don't feel like it's a waste of money, but they're sitting there. They're sitting there for sure. I'm building
They
up
do.
my collection.
I have a large collection, and I was telling Mog and Rob that I want to start collecting all the artwork from people that I talk to, so I can
Oh,
like kind of like display it in different areas. And I'm like, and there I was like, there goes another like sinking cost of like just all the stuff.
well, I got you, Mark. Don't worry about that on my end.
Mog,
I'm down.
just because I'm giving you a lot of crap. No, I do have one piece of artwork from Mog though. It's I think it's upstairs. So I wouldn't be able to grab it right now, but I can't remember what it was. She had I can't remember when she posted it, but it was like all the Justice League and Samurai armor.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Not all. It was
yeah,
like
yeah.
the main four, and I literally messaged her and I was like, "Hey, just put that aside." I was like, "That's mine. That's just mine."
Yeah. Oh, you gotta grab stuff
Yeah,
like Mug. I'm really
sometimes you have
busy. I
to.
know.
So I'll
Yeah.
ask you one last question because I know we're about at an hour, and I start to feel bad when I keep anyone over an hour because I'm like I know
Oh,
other people have things to do. But what would you say? So obviously, like one thing we always like to dive in here is like different fandoms and different things people are passionate about. So what's something that like is kind of like the not so much the guilty pleasure fandom, but like something that either not many people know about or just something that like maybe isn't as popular, but you're like a huge fan of it, if there is anything.
um. Well, if anything, I am a big fan. Well, not specific franchise or like stories overall. I am a big fan of JoJo's artwork.
Okay.
So Joe Driscoll, I've been hunting for his artwork. I've been hunting for his stuff like crazy. Uh, I have a few of his art books, but yeah, so that's something I am crazy about. Another thing would be, I guess, latest was Lone Wolf and Cub. I'm collecting the issues, so I'm out
Okay.
hunting for those. So um, if you catch me online on Facebook while I work, I have multiple Facebook posts open of like live sale of like comic books, and I'm constantly listening in. Like this morning, I was on here on Facebook with Henri, kicking it with Henri. That's a friend of mine, Henri Compan. Um, just a little plug-in for him, but he has a he's a dealer online and he's a friend of mine and I always like I get a lot of stuff from his collections of course and Lone Wolf and Pup is the big one. I've been having him hunt down for me. So I was out making coffee in the kitchen. I heard him out on my earphone. I ran the heck in. I was like, I'm taking that, dude. You
My
know me
God,
by now.
sir.
That's mine.
What are you doing
But
mentioning this to other people?
yeah, exactly. That's what's going on in my mind. I was like, Henri, that's mine. Can't
How
believe you made
dare
me
you?
run.
How dare you? You
But
should have
yeah,
never like that's private for me and you know it.
exactly. But those two have been my latest like kill over other people. Oh, yes. Lone Wolf
Okay.
and Cub, Joe Justo.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. And the reason why I always ask is because I'll end up hearing about things that I have never heard about before. And then I'm like, okay, now
Yes.
I got new stuff to look into and to dive into, and because that's what I love doing. I like those of you who listen to the Fan Effect, or whether you're new or not, is I will always give everything a try once. Obviously, some exceptions are there, depending on what it is. But for the most part, if it's an art style or a comic style or like whatever it is, like I'll give anything a shot once, just because who knows, like where it might lead. Like that's why I went. It was like last month I went parachuting for the first time, or like skydiving, because I wanted to do it for a while, and I was like, yeah, I was like, why not? So I jumped. It was like 14,000 feet is what I jumped from, which is
I
awesome.
Oh man, welcome on board. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
At least you did it in a I presume that you did it in a very sane state of mind compared to me. I did it hungover, so that's another
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, that's a story. No, I was not hungover.
Good.
Mainly because I was jumping at like 8 a.m. and it was a 2.5 hour drive, so I had to
Oh,
be up at 4 in the morning to make sure I was ready. So I was severely sleep deprived. I got like 2 hours of
oh,
sleep. But hey, nothing like jumping out of an airplane to wake you up.
mine was at 6 a.m. hungover.
Ooh,
So
jeez.
that wa-
I think I would have puked if I was hungover.
that happened afterward, but yeah,
Ugh.
pretty much adrenaline hit. It was actually yes, it hits you like that.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, accidentally like as I just bang my mic. I'm like, there you go.
But it does feel like that in the head, so you got it wrong
Yeah,
on spot.
it's different. Yeah, I would have thrown up because I told the guy when we were jumping, I was like, hey, I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie, so like, how crazy are you allowed to make this? And he was like, well, we can do it as much as we're allowed to. So he went as fast as he could on a dive
Oh,
before he had to like obviously stop and
yeah,
pull the chute.
yes,
And then we were going down. He was like, all right, you still want like as crazy as you can get? And I was like, oh yeah, like let's do it. And he like showed me how to pull the parachute to do those like crazy fast spin spirals, and that's
yes,
all I did like the entire way down. And there was like a girl that jumped with me, like not like she jumped on a different with a
yeah,
different instructor, but on the same plane. And
you're
I
right.
was talking to her on the ground because we were waiting for like video package thing, and I was like, yeah, I could see you for a little bit, but then I started doing these spins and I couldn't see you anymore. And she goes, yeah, I saw that. And the guy turned to me and went, did you want to try that? And I was like, no, because that looks insane.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
My The thing is, my instructor did, try to teach me. Actually, asked me to do it myself and try to teach me how to glide, but nothing crazy like you. And then I did it. I was still a little high on adrenaline and
Right.
alcohol was still in the system. And then when we started doing that, and they say to look at the horizon, that's helped. I didn't know to do that. They didn't tell me first thing. So that's when like everything started coming up, and I just go, ooh.
You're like, here it comes.
Yes, and then he heard that because they're strapped pretty tight
Oh
to you,
yeah,
yeah.
they're
They're like,
they're they're right on you.
yep, like you're one person, like
Oh
tight,
yeah,
tight, and so
yeah.
he felt that, and then he was like, "You okay?" I was like, "Disclosure, kind of late, but I'm hungover." And he was like, "Holy shit!" Like I could imagine what goes in his mind. He was like, "Okay, let me take hold of that.
Yeah,
You relax, okay?"
I'm gonna do this now so I don't die. Like as the
Yes,
crazy hungover lady plummets me towards the ground.
and my friend, I went with a friend too, of course, and I could see my friend. She was puking already. She was puking in midair. and we were right over a beach. So I'm like, I wonder if that will hit someone.
You're like secretly you're crossing your fingers like, come on, hitting someone. Like, let's do this. Let's come on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't puke. I just got slightly queasy after like we had done like 5 of those tight spirals, and I
Oh,
was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's like that's starting to feel that a little bit.
did they give you like a certification saying you did it?
Yeah, and then the guy handed me like a thing of um like a sheet on how to get certified, like to like go through it and start jumping by yourself. So like if I go
Oh
back and I go to the same place, the next jump would be by myself.
yeah.
I think from like 5,000 or something. Not as much, but I know the
Yeah.
next jump would be by myself because they were like, and I was like, look, it's one thing to jump, it's another thing to jump and be like, you're responsible for pulling it.
Yes, yes.
That's a
I
different like like because I'm sure you feel like when you're flying out of there, like I could barely see, I could barely keep my head up, like the wind was so
I didn't know
intense.
we can breathe. I didn't know we can still breathe. I held
Yeah.
my breath all the way through the whole free
Ooh,
fall, and I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
You can breathe, but it's hard. It's hard. Like
yeah,
sucking in a
Mac.
breath like hurts, which makes sense
Yeah.
because you're sucking in a breath at like hundreds of miles per hour, like trying to breathe in. Like you can do it, it just hurts.
Yes, yes. Oh wow. But kudos to you. You go back. I would love to see footage
That
or something.
that would be an interesting one. Like, all right,
Yes.
yeah, to jump out and then have the guy be like, all right, never. As soon as you jump, count to 5 and then pull the chute. Be like, yeah,
Oh,
because let's trust myself not to forget that. Like in your head, you're like, wait, how many seconds has it been?
yes, exactly. It's like it
So
feels like an hour up there.
yeah, it really it's weird. As soon as I
It really
landed, I
does.
was
Yeah.
like, I drove back and I was like, I just none of it felt real that like I had just done that. Like it passes by so
No.
quick, you. But I mean, I'd recommend it to everyone. Like definitely do it. I mean,
Yes. If you have the gut for it, do it. It is especially if you're over a nice scenery area, go for it. Hawaii was a treat. Even though like I could barely see without my glasses because I can't wear it. I can't wear contact lenses. So I saw a blur, but it was still beautiful.
yeah, I'm sure your
So it
view is
was
better
worth
than
it.
mine. I mean, I got like a couple rivers and I was just over a field because I'm in Wisconsin. So there's not a whole lot
Yeah.
that you're gonna be looking at.
Uh
But hey,
yeah.
I'll take
Okay.
if I can go skydiving in Hawaii, I would gladly do that in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
I keep telling DJ, all he's gotta do is put me up for a week, and I'll just fly over, and
Oh yeah. He's on another island, but it's beautiful still over there.
I'll count it. I
Yeah.
mean, I gotta, like if I ever make it over, I'm just gonna count it. I'm gonna count it as just like I've done it. I've done it all.
Yes, yes.
I could try to island hop, I guess. I don't know how that works, but
It's not that expensive to be honest. If you're on my island and you can island hop without all these like COVID mess, um,
right, yeah,
the tickets are pretty cheap for like yeah a roundabout ticket is really cheap.
okay.
It's like you're talking about under 100 sometimes.
Oh dang. Okay. So it's not definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be like my future. Like when I've made it enough and I can get out to a Hawaii Comic Con,
Yes.
to host some panels.
Yes, we would
Uh,
love that. Actually, we would really love that. Yes.
that'd be fun. I am trying to get rid of that. So hopefully those of you who are listening, hopefully I'm reaching out to actually some cons in the next couple weeks here to try to get involved with some moderation of some panels and everything.
Yeah,
I was like, hey,
that
because I
would be
don't get
cool.
tired of my own voice, so I might as well just keep talking.
Well, that is your job. So, yes, it's a good trade. It's a good thing to have.
But I know, after our 10-minute skydiving tangent, I'll make sure that I wrap up here. But before I go into my usual spiel here, I know we showed it, but for those that weren't able to listen to this live and kind of listen to it down the road, do you mind sharing what your Facebook and Twitch and Instagram and everything is?
Oh, totally. So, on Instagram, you can find me at ONK97. So O as in Oscar, and then N Nancy K Kilo. So ONK97. That's my Instagram name, as well as my Twitch. So you can find me on www.twitch.tv/ONK97. I stream, or I try to, on Tuesday and Thursday of each week. If you don't find me on Tuesday, you'll find me on Thursday.
And as promised, I did follow you on Twitch. So
Oh, thank you. And then Facebook, it's just my name is ANH, so that's Alpha Nancy Hotel. VU, so that's Victor Union. So Anbu, that's my name. You can find me on Facebook. You can hit me up, message me, and we can connect on there. And if I don't get to your friend request or something, I am trying my best to. And yes, I
she's
will
very
get there.
mean. She's very mean and rude and like
Well,
I messaged yeah.
if you're
I
not
messaged
hitting me up and like being creepy, then yes, we can be friends. If you're being creepy, oh my god,
I mean, again,
I
I wasn't being creepy, and you just sent me a message saying, "Bring me on your show" with a swear word, and I was like, "Whoa, that's a little uncalled for." Like, you can come on the show, you don't got to swear at me, but you were
I
just
think you
like,
were talking to the drunk me at the time. Yeah,
definitely
it might have been Jack Daniels and some coke
Jack
talking at
Daniels.
the time.
Oh, yeah. There's different. I'm in the same boat. There's different versions of me that come out depending on what I'm drinking. The one that never
Yes.
comes out anymore is Tequila Me, because Tequila Me died in college.
Oh, that's a little bit much. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
my Jack and Hennessy.
I'm either whiskey or rum. So it's Crown Royal is pretty much my
Oh,
go-to.
peach crown royal.
Yeah, or rum if I can spring it because it's expensive. But Four Roses is a whiskey like a bourbon and whiskey over like made in
Yeah.
Kentucky. Tends to be a little bit more pricey, but it's to date
Hmm.
one of the smoothest like drinks I've ever had.
I have to try that. I do like. I actually like the burn, and I like the smoothness in alcohol. But
Okay. Yeah, there's another
we're
one
gonna
too. Blombros.
blonde,
Blombros is another really good whiskey because
blonde. Yeah, okay.
where I'm at in Wisconsin, the advantage of living in Wisconsin is that everything is bars,
Hmm.
and not like just like the Bud Light, whatever. But everything is like micro breweries and like so everything's like unique beers made in like places around the country and stuff like that. So
It's
there's
not
that.
she, but it's Dawn. But it's still cool. But yes, that's another guilty pleasure.
Hey, those are some good guilty pleasures. I don't have much. Most of my stuff is still in boxes, as I'm still in the process of moving. But
Oh, okay, yeah.
I do have some One Piece stuff behind me that's currently being hidden by a
Plastic.
gallon water jug. Because
Oh,
that's
that's
my.
some plastic.
So I got some One Piece stuff here,
Pop
and
up back.
then there's a set. Star Wars does a set of all the people wearing samurai or like Ronin
Uh,
outfits. So
oh, that's a sweet one.
So it's Darth
Yeah.
Maul as like a samurai with like a double-bladed sword. It's a really good series of action figures, but they're like the cheapest figure I think is like 80, $90.
Yeah,
Uh,
those are not so bad. The only Star Wars I have would be like the Funko Pop Luke
she's
Skywalker,
calling
but
you out,
yeah.
Mel. She's calling you out. I told you, ruthless, ruthless, just calling you out.
He should know better. But but yeah, that- like you can see what I'm into. But we could actually be here forever talking
We
about
really could. We really
our
could.
guilty pleasures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and like I said, I mean, just you'll be on the show again at some point.
definitely
I
with the
mentioned
amount of stuff.
yeah, yeah, even not just like for an artwork discussion of just like a here. Let's talk about all the things that we spend money on.
Oh yes, welcome. Yes,
So I can't
we
show as
can.
many because a lot of mine are more digital stuff, but I've been working on like motion graphic stuff, and it's fun, but it's like oh,
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can
totally.
come
I'm
close to sharing your pain on when it comes to drawing is like
yeah.
when you're making like a countdown timer in motion graphics and you have to split every second, and so it's just like frame by frame of you just like clicking and dragging and then click and then drag and then click then drag.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my god. But
Hours.
to avoid another 30-minute side tangent, because it's just how I do
We
things.
can. Yes.
uh, like I said, anything that was mentioned, and by that I mean like the Kickstarter or like links to artwork or like the Twitch or the Instagram or the Facebook. We mentioned a lot of things. So as I'm going back and editing this episode, anything that gets posted when this episode airs will get posted in the links, like as always, for you guys that are listening to this, whether you're watching it live. If you're listening to this live, just make sure if you're on Facebook, just go ahead and like the Facebook page. The Twitter is the exact same as the Facebook page, so you can follow the Twitter as well. If you want to follow me on Twitch, you can. I do Twitch as well at twitch.tv/BushidoGeek. I'll do a lot of the stuff for this podcast as well as another podcast that I'm a part of called Anime Shenanigans, where every Sunday we go live and just review anime-related anime, manga, things of that nature. We're about 2 months into that show, so you guys can catch me on Anime Shenanigans as well. If you've made it this far and you're listening to the episode, kudos to you. You're a champion. And make sure that you like and subscribe. So Twitter is going to be @FandomEffect. I will post it in the chat here for everybody. But it's the exact same. I'm more active on Facebook, so if you do want to message the page or anything like that, Automog, I'll know. Anyone that ever, whether it's you want to be a guest or you like have a friend that has like a business or an art, like a project or anything like that that you think would be great for the show, everyone's always welcome to message me anytime. So if you do want to send me a message on Twitter, the DMs are open, but Facebook is probably the better way to get a hold of me. Or you can send an email to our email at thefandomeffectpodcast@gmail.com, and I'll go and I'll make sure I respond to you there as well. If you do want to support the show in other different ways, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/fandompodcast. I generally steer towards people away from buying me a coffee because I don't feel like you get really much out of it. It's kind of just like you kind of donate some money to help out, but you don't get really much out of it. So if you want to help out, we do have a Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/fandomeffectpodcast. There's different tiers. Different tiers means you just get different rewards, and I'm in the process of updating those just to provide people more bang for their buck. And if you love our fancy logo that I'll throw up in the corner here, you can go ahead and buy our merch. So we have merch that's available. If you go to teespring.com/fandomeffectpodcast, we have like shirts and mugs and various different things of that nature. And all the proceeds go towards just helping me upgrade like this fun little equipment stuff that I got sitting next to me and everything like that. And other than that, we got a lot of cool stuff in the works. Hopefully after the new year, I'm going to be doing a new logo, just kind of like a bunch of new stuff for you guys. So stay tuned for that. I won't say what it is, even though you have a good idea of what it is. Sometime in December, I'm going to be doing a special week of something. I'm working on some early stuff right now, so stay tuned. There's some really cool stuff coming up for December. And as always, we got a sweet stuff coming out, and I'm always going to keep growing for you guys. If there is a fandom or something that you think would be cool for me to dive into, or like I said, regardless of what it is, if you're passionate about something and you want me to dive into it and do an episode on it, shoot me any message on any of the stuff that I mentioned before, and I will make sure I do an episode on that show. And if I can, I will bring you on that show as well to talk about why your fandom is so passionate. I'll say this now because it's official now, but December 3rd, I will be going live on something called Indie Pods United, which is like a podcasting summit that's hosted by a couple friends of mine. They started last year, and I was a part of it last year, and I'm doing it this year as well. I'll be doing a live podcasting show called essentially it's going to be called Pitch Your Fandom. And I'm going to be having on about 6 people on the show, and you have to defend the thing you're most passionate about, and then everyone else is going to vote whether or not you did a good job doing that.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I'm looking forward to that, and so that'll be some stuff you guys can catch me on. But as always, guys, I appreciate everyone who tuned in, comments, listens to the show, subscribes to the show, everything like that. The reason why I keep doing these shows is because it's just I love being able to find out new things and talking to people. It's always a lot of fun. if you do, like I said, if you're any major podcasting platform, you're gonna find me on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeart. Alexa has podcasts now, so if you want to be really creepy and have my voice echoing out through your whole house, you can do that as well, which is always super fun. New episodes bright and early every Friday morning at about 7 a.m. For the Phantom Effect. Anime Shenanigans will be every Sunday around 10:30 Central Time. We're always live, and as I get more stuff going on, I'll make sure to keep you guys updated. And that's gonna do it for me. Any final words? You wanna like insult anyone? Like throw anyone under the bus?
No, but Witchers. I just I just figure out there's a fandom that I am crazy about. The Witchers.
The wit.
So
Okay.
yes, we can. I Yep. If you're doing a podcast on that, I'll be tuning
I
in.
will probably do one when season two, because I think that's coming out December. I don't know if I'm wrong.
Yes,
I know
December.
season.
It's in
Yeah,
December.
it's okay. That's what I thought I remembered seeing is that it came out in December. I will be doing a live show to review The Witcher when season two comes out because I love Henry Cavill because he's a huge nerd.
Ah, yes.
So all the credit to that guy. Huge nerd.
Yes, yes. And that's all I wanted to end on. The Witchers.
See, and there you go. That's why I asked the question because inevitably someone's like, "Wait a minute, I have something,"
Yes.
and they're
I
like,
know you said it.
and they're like, I gotta come back on and we talk about this like down the road. So yeah, I'll set up a Witcher review episode and I'll bring you on and we can just like talk
Yeah, that
the full The Witcher and yeah, Aquaman too. Aquaman, okay.
ah
Mel, if you
well
want to come
looks
on the show and
looks like
talk
we
some
got a
Aquaman,
list.
Mel,
Yeah.
I would talk some Aquaman for sure because I've read the comics and it's not The Witcher, it's Henry.
Shh. It's
Uh,
okay. He's witching.
now he's calling you out. So before we get into some, before we get everyone fighting here, I did all my fun spiel, but no, this was a huge
Yeah,
blast. I'm glad you
it
reached out.
is.
I felt bad that it took me so long to get back, but I didn't have a computer.
Oh no,
Like
don't feel
this setup,
bad.
I didn't have anything for like when I did for Snowpaws, I was using a laptop with just headphones plugged in
Yes.
to the laptop and I was like this angle sucks. I was like the audio is not as good. I was like I have to hold off on doing anything else until I get the setup because I was like
Oh,
I was
no
like it's just
worries.
not as
That
good.
that's part of life. That's part of life. No worries. But thank you for actually reaching out back out to me. And yes, yeah, definitely do
Bet
a show
Mel.
with Mel.
Bet.
Like, yes. But yeah, thank you so much to podcasts like yourself. It does give us a lot of outreach to more people and connect with our fan base as well as those that have been supporting us. Like, I haven't had much of a social life, but yes, this is one way to connect. And thank you for doing
Yeah,
this.
of course, anytime. And like I said, welcome. Now I just feel like I'm gonna be ganged up on. Like I know what that means. I've been around the
I,
block a few times at this point. But no, but I love doing stuff like this. And like I said, I do this not just for the sake of, well, some stuff that we talked about before before we went live. What's up, Justin? Thank you. I don't know, man. It's awesome genetics, man. That's what happens when you look this good, man. You just get awesome. You just get awesome genetics. But no, I just love doing stuff like this. It's been a blast. That's why like when like DJ or anybody like you, Mog, Mel reach out, it's like it's not even a hesitation. It's just like, yep, when you want to do it. Like let's just because they've always been a ton of fun. And just, they've always been a huge blast to do. And like I find out a lot of cool stuff about got some Asian in you somewhere. Uh,
oh, I don't know if you're ready for this, Mark. But I'm sure if you guys enjoy this podcast, the next one coming up, if I'm returning Mel, Mog, and the crew that we bring along, it's gonna be a blast.
it,
Feel like way
yeah,
more of a blast.
yeah, we'll definitely be doing. I definitely want to do one to get everybody on again and like and do a huge huge one. And I'll give Mel some credit. I mean one my son's half Asian, but that's not me necessarily. But my one of my biggest passions is like the samurai like culture, and like I did martial arts for 5 years and like trained in like Japanese jiu-jitsu. Like I study samurai stuff all the time, like the culture and the stuff with the three kingdoms and all that stuff. Like I'm just fascinated by all that stuff, and will read and research anything I can on it. Like love all that stuff.
I'll hit you up definitely when Balak, the story I'm doing, Balak Bushi Kawasu in the Onioka comes out.
Yeah,
You might enjoy that
yeah,
because there's a lot of history and like technical stuff in there. So I think you would
yeah,
definitely enjoy
yeah.
that.
That's it's definitely up my alley. And so I'll just get a PO box, so all you guys can just send me free stuff all the time. No, I'm just kidding. I will always pay for. I will always. I will always pay for indie stuff because I want to support people who deserve support, and so that's just what I want to do. And even though this has kept going, I'm not cutting any of this out. So those of you who are listening to this are like, didn't he end the show like 15 minutes ago? And
I
he's like,
know.
still kept. He's just still going. Let's see, good.
I'm not complaining. It's one of those shows that I actually really enjoy being a part of, and
Well,
like,
thank you.
yeah. Another one is with Del
Japanese
Guzman
music.
and their comic fanzine too. So you guys are awesome. I love talking to you guys again.
I
I don't.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I've said goodbye 3 times.
Okay, let's say goodbye to the
Yeah,
audience before they
yeah.
get a little too tired out.
We'll say goodbye, everybody. We'll bring everybody back on. Me and Mel can talk some samurai stuff for
Yes.
sure. It seems like it, and some Aquaman. So I'll end it with you, this guys. If you're looking for kind of a different fandom experience, I always try to give you guys some sort of fandom experience, something new to try, and something new to do. My recommendation for this episode would be, if you've heard different stuff that we've talked about, and you're kind of curious of like just why people can get into so many different passions, I would encourage you to take one of the things I was mentioned today, whether that's skydiving, samurai culture, different artwork styles, comic book styles, and just look into the artwork. Try reading a different comic like based on like one of these art styles. Like find something that maybe doesn't fit the mold of something you're typically into and give it a shot. That's what I do every week here, and what I will always continue to do, because I mean, hey, it's led to some like great experiences like this, and it's led to some great artwork. Um, so that'll be my little fandom experience for you guys this week, is to take anything that was mentioned, and as always, if you do something, yes, if you do that, Corey, if you skydive with a katana and like get pictures taken, I will. I don't know. I will like dedicate an entire day's show just to you in your exploit of
Make sure you
skydiving
duct
with a
tape it to
katana.
your hand, okay?
No, that defeats the purpose. If you're doing it, he's got to go. He's got to jump with it like in the sheath, and then with it
Oh
out, and then
God.
as he's falling, unsheath it, and then pull the chute, and then resheath it. So when he lands, he can like resheath the katana and like
Oh God.
slide it back into its holder, and like a super badass land. Like as soon as he lands, you got to sheath the katana. It's the
You
only way
know,
I
take
accept it.
pictures and I'll pay for those pictures if they're good references for a book
See, there
that
we go.
I work on. Yeah, sure.
Now you don't have an excuse. Now you got to do it.
But
But
yeah,
I will avoid power lines. Yeah. But this part I'm going to cut out for those of you that are listening. I'll cut out the last like two minutes here from when I just ended it. But like you said, we'll have a lot of fun stuff in the works. I will be back. If you like watching stuff that I'm doing right now, I'll be back this Sunday with Anime Shenanigans. We're going to be reviewing the original Digimon anime. So I still have to watch it. So I'm not. You're not the only one procrastinating. I mean, mine might not be drawing some artwork that's due this weekend, but I do have to watch 30 episodes of Digimon in the next 3 days.
oh
Uh,
God.
that I've had 2
Good
weeks to
luck.
do. Justin, hope you're not watching still. But I'll see you guys next Friday, bright and early. Also, if you are watching this live, don't forget that this Friday's episode, since it's the last Friday of October, is our last episode of our horror month. And it's going to be, we went over haunted houses. I brought on a friend of mine, Sam, who is volunteered to haunted houses, and we go over haunted houses. what it's like to work in a haunted house. She has a really funny story of what it's like to make someone pee in the middle of a haunted house. So if you think you have embarrassing haunted house stories, please share them, and I will try to showcase them this Friday. But other than that, I will see you guys next Friday, and then I'll see you at future live shows. So just stay tuned for more Fandom Effect.
See you guys. Much mahalo.